Why are we so hard on ourselves for the things that we didn't see, for the things that we didn't know, for the things that we didn't understand? But now we have vision and clarity and understanding and knowing, and we punish ourselves with guilt and shame. What if we were to shift that guilt and shame to gratitude? Gratitude for the sight, gratitude for the knowing, gratitude for the understanding, and ask ourselves, how can we apply this vision and knowing and understanding to our lives and our experience and our actions moving forward? Wouldn't that feel much better and be more productive than guilt and shame? I was born with an eye infection, and they held me in the hospital for 2 weeks. So I was separated basically at birth, and I've been experiencing separation throughout my whole life. It's kind of been a theme, but that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is the eye infection that I had. So I was born with an eye infection. So ever since I was able to go to an eye doctor, I've been wearing glasses. As a little tiny toddler, I was one of those, the little tiny toddler with glasses on. And I've always needed glasses to see with clarity, but it never gave me really full 20/20 vision. When you look out the side of your glasses, it's just a blur. So when I got older, as a young adult, a older teenager, I was told that eventually I would go blind in one of my eyes. So that hasn't happened. But I've always needed glasses to see. I don't know a life without corrective lenses. So when I was in my early 20s, I got contacts, and I was in the eye doctor's office, and the woman working behind the counter that was helping, she spent so much time and she was so patient with me as I tried to get the contacts in my eyes. And I really struggled with putting the contact on my eyeball. And I just remember how patient and non-judgmental she was of me. And she just stayed with me and coached me through it. And it took a while before I got it in. And when I finally got them both in, it was the first time in my life that I could see all around. Everywhere my eyes turned, I could see clearly. Everything was brighter. Even though I wore glasses to see, and they definitely helped me, the contacts gave me a level of clarity and sight that I had never experienced before. I remember the colors being brighter, people's faces looking different, being able to see through the contacts. And I was overwhelmed with joy that I just started crying because I never saw the world with this much visual clarity. And I cried tears of joy, and I was so excited about the vision that contacts gave me. I had never experienced in my 20-something years on earth. fast forward, I was at a spiritual experience. I don't even know what to call it, a ceremony. I was at a ceremony and I was given the task of being a medicine carrier. And one of the requirements was that I had to take my glasses off. So although I had contacts, I would go back and forth, contacts to glasses. But I was in the desert and camping outdoors for an extended period of time. It wasn't conducive to wearing contacts, so I wore my glasses. And a part of this honor, this task of carrying the medicine, I needed to remove my glasses in the ceremonial space. And I told the elder that I can't see without my glasses. How will I know who needs the medicine? How will I know where to go if I can't see the people? I can't see their faces. I can't see where to walk. And she basically told me that I just had to trust that I would see what I needed to see and that I would be guided to where I needed to go. And I was so afraid of not being able to see. But I wanted to carry this medicine. I wanted to do this honor. It was an honor for me to be able to do this, to participate in this way. So I needed to trust. I had to face my fear of not being able to see. So I took my glasses off and I left them in my tent. And I went through with the ceremony, and the ceremony was over a few days. And I want to say somehow, but not somehow, because I know that it was spirit, it was the ancestors, it was the intuitive guidance, it was the medicine that I carry that helped me to see. And I had to feel into where to go. I couldn't use my eyesight to guide me. I had to use my other senses. I had to feel into the space. I had to feel into walking. I had to feel into where I was being called to and trust and move with that. And by the end of the ceremony, when it was time to leave and it was time to get on the road and drive my car, so now I need to put my glasses back on. I'd done without my glasses the entire ceremony, which was over a few days. I go to put my glasses on. I damn near fell down because the prescription felt too strong for my eyes. They hurt. It hurt to use the glasses. It hurt to look through the lenses. My vision was restored for a time, and of course I adjusted, but my spiritual sight was so powerful that the prescriptive lenses were too strong. It overcompensated. Sometimes when dogs are experiencing high levels of anxiety or anxiousness or excitement, they rely on their eyes, they visually, which can cause them to be very aggressive. Because a dog's true senses lies in their sense of smell and their ability to feel into the energy around them. But when they rely on their sight, it misleads them. They need to do what dogs do, and that is to smell, to sense, to feel into energy, to smell the energy around them. You can, but it's not productive to punish yourself for what you weren't able to see, for your lack of clarity, for your lack of knowing. It is a part of the human experience. It is part of being human to experience, to feel into things, to learn, and then to gain clarity. Yeah, you might have a knowing, but it's counterproductive and counterintuitive to punish yourself for not seeing clearly, especially when you're experiencing anxiety, depression, all these things that interfere, just like the dog, it interferes with our true senses. And we depend and rely on things that don't actually tell us the full story. When anxiety, depression, excitement, anxiousness come into play, it affects our ability to see clearly with the God-given senses that we have. It affects our ability to truly trust our intuition and to trust our knowing. It affects our ability to tap in and ground down and to see. So don't punish yourself for your lack of vision or your lack of clarity when you were experiencing anxiety, depression, anxiousness, excitement. Don't punish yourself. Trust and know and have gratitude for seeing clearly right now, right in this moment. And the question is not how you're gonna continue to punish yourself. The question is what are you going to do now that you know? How are you going to move differently in your life? How are you going to reflect that growing and that knowing in your everyday experience? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. That's the type of interrogation that you need to be experiencing right now. Not punishment, not guilt, not shame. Those feelings and those thoughts of guilt and shame do not help you to grow. They don't benefit you and they don't benefit the people around you. Have gratitude for the fact that you can see clearly now. Have gratitude for the fact that you know. Have gratitude for the fact that you had that experience so that you could be pushed and moved and propelled forward. So now what? Now what? I trust and I know that this message is going to find who it's meant for. And as always, thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for your time and your energy. Take care.